to the Don's Favor on FILA Sports Podcast. This is your boy, the Don. I got enemy of the state with me, Ren Daxt. He covers the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How you doing? Let everybody know who you are and where they can find you.
Sure. My name's Ren Dax. That is not my actual name. That's just a name I go by on social media. I do a podcast that's Buccaneer centric. I've been doing it for 5 years. We have over 500,000 downloads and 400 episodes in our pocket. And, we go 3 times a week during the season and then every week after. So, it's a grind, but we love our teams, our local teams, and thanks for reaching out and talking some Buccaneers football. It's a little early. Won't play Atlanta for a little while, but you wanted to talk to me, and I'm here. So let's talk NFC South.
Hey man, appreciate you coming on, man. Everybody who joining us live, what's good, Sean? Ultra Shadow 97. Moose Nation, said changing it forever. I love Minnesota. Just kidding. Hey, if you want to create your own Minnesota podcast or whatever, I'll help you on that, man. No problem. But appreciate y'all joining us this early in the morning. Y'all can be somewhere else, church or still sleep or watching ESPN, but y'all here with us. Appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, y'all already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Also hit that like button. Share this content out with Atlanta sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. Come holla at your hometown sports podcast this morning on my head coach scouting. Remember, I am the official head coach scouter for the Atlanta Falcons. All right? Don't get it twisted. So today we're going to talk about Todd Bowles. All right? Now, he's currently the defensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is why I brought Ren on to talk about Todd Bowles. Yeah, he been there a couple of seasons, but guess what? He turned that defense around. Remember, the year before he came in, the defense was dead last in the league. Then last year they was fifth. All right. Now, little history about Todd is he was a former player. All right. He played for what? He played 6 years in the league. He played on the head Hall of Fame coaches like Joe Gibbs and for the Redskins, now the Washington NFL team, and Bill Wash, George Seifert. Now, let's go to his coaching record. Now, after he retired, when he played several seasons in the league, he went to Green Bay as a defensive assistant under Mike Holmgren for a couple of seasons. Then he went to Morehouse College here in Atlanta. He was there for a year. He was a defensive coordinator and secondary coach. I'm pretty sure my former co-host coach, because he went to Morehouse in 97. He probably remember Todd being there. He went to Grambling State for 2 seasons. He was a defensive coordinator there. And then he got his shot at the NFL as the secondary coach for the New York Jets for 1 season under I forgot who the coach was. He was there before what's the coach there? I forgot his name. Brain fart this morning. Sorry about that. But he moved to Cleveland. He was with Cleveland for a few seasons. He was the secondary nickel package coach under Butch Davis. And he was there in 2004. He moved up to the secondary coach. Then in 2005, he joined the staff of Bill Parcells in Dallas for a few seasons. He was a secondary coach out there. Then he went to Miami. He joined Tony Soprano as an assistant head coach and the secondaries coach. Then when Tony Soprano got fired in the middle of the 2011 season, he moved into the interim head coaching position and for the Dolphins. And then in 2012, he became the secondaries coach under Andy Reid's last year there. So he's been around. And then we knew him. He got a lot of fame with the Cardinals when Bruce Arians hired him as his defensive coordinator in 2013. So he spent 2 years there. All right. And then he got his attention in 2014 from several teams, but he took the Jets job, and he was there for what 3 or 4 seasons as their head coach, and he got fired in 2018. And when Bruce Arians became y'all head coach in Tampa Bay in 2019, he brought Todd back as his DC, and everything's been looking good so far. So, um, what's your thoughts on Todd Bowles and how he pretty much helped y'all team so far?
Well, you know, as a Buccaneer fan, I know Atlanta fans probably don't follow the Buccaneers as closely as as their own team, of course. But we had a defensive coordinator, Mike Smith, who, he would play soft zone every single game, and the Bucs were on a record pace for giving up yards per game, especially passing. The run defense was okay, but the passing defense was terrible. The corners played 11 yards off, 8 out of 10 plays. So the quarterback could just stand up, fire it to the sidelines, and you get 7 yards, and it's 2nd and 3. Uh, so after basically the owners made Dirk Cutter fire Mike Smith. Dirk Cutter didn't last very long, and as you said, in came Todd Bowles, who was Bruce Arians' DC over in Arizona, but their relationship goes further back than that. Like Bruce Arians coached Todd Bowles in college at Temple. Like
Mm-hmm.
these guys have been friends for a very, very long time. So when he brought him in at DC, we had our draft. The Bucs ended up drafting 3 corners that if they don't get injured, you'll see in a handful of weeks here. Uh, Carlton Davis, uh, Sean Murphy Bunting, and Jamel Dean. And Bruce Arians, after that draft, just told the media that the secondary's fixed. Well, it took about 9 games, and the jettisoning of Vernon Hargraves uh, as a starter, and they just kicked him off the team. And then Jamel Dean came and stepped in for him, and that's when they started shooting up the defensive rankings, and ended the season in 5th place. Right now, per PFF, they're ranked number 1 in overall defense. They're the
Yep.
only defense that have both passing and rushing in the top 10. Their top 10 scoring defense, which is the only stat that really matters to me. But if you watched that Green Bay Buccaneers game, the complete dismantling and befuddlement that Todd Bowles' scheme did to, arguably, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. When you start naming the best quarterbacks ever to play the game, not too many names come out of your mouth till you get to Aaron Rodgers. And he just didn't, they totally took a spirit. He didn't want to play anymore.
Exactly.
He was completely confused. I wouldn't have been surprised if he went to his head coach, Matt LaFleur, and said, I don't want to play anymore. Uh, this game is over. So this is something we've seen in building on this defense with the linebackers. A lot of people are saying it's the best duo in the league with Levante David and now Devin White, the 5th round pick in his second year.
Mm-hmm.
And in the front seven, and what Todd Bowles does with his defense, which makes it so hard to figure out, is imagine this: you look at like a telephone wire, and there's 11 birds on there, and you have to pick the 4 that are coming, because he'll send everybody. Like he'll drop the defensive tackles into coverage and bring Levante David and Devin White, the linebackers, and it looks like a blitz because the linebackers are coming, but when you count how many people are actually rushing, it's just 4. But he'll bring the 2 edge. He does that all the time. And then he brings a lot of blitzes, but he brings them early. He doesn't blitz on 3rd down a lot. So from the defense where it was and how young they are, I guess sort of answer your question here, how young they are. And Todd Bowles still talking about, like, there's still a lot of stuff that I haven't unpacked for these guys. And given how their performance, how they seem to be getting better week after week after week. As a Buccaneers fan, uh, you know, we feel like we have a defense to finally match up with the offense that BA brought with him when he came to Tampa.
Yeah. And this is what this is what I've been saying, man. Like you go back and you look at, because I look at y'all film a lot, and I'm a huge Todd Bowles fan. And this is the person I wanted in 2000 after the end of 2014 season because we interviewed Rex Ryan, Dan Quinn, Todd Bowles, and Terrell Austin. All right.
Sure.
I believe what happened with Rex during the time when we tried to interview him, I think Arthur Blank's mom passed away. So, there was that, I guess, miscommunication of that. Um, I don't know what happened with Terrell Austin and Todd Bowles, but I think Todd Bowles wanted the Jets job because he's from Jersey. So
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to be closer to his family or his hometown. So that's why he ultimately just chose that job over Atlanta. Because if you look at everybody else that we hired, well, we interviewed, Dan Quinn is on the bottom of that list. And the reason why is that because he was in Seattle, they won a Super Bowl, but let's be real. That Seattle Seahawks team, and I sound like a broken record, that defense is predicated on Pete Carroll. All right, Pete Carroll is the mastermind behind the Seattle defense. Everywhere Pete Carroll has been, he's always had a good defense. You can go back to his days in the USC. USC back then, when they had Matt Leinart, Carson Palmer, and all those guys, Reggie Bush, on the offense side of the ball, but their defense was like number one in the country. You know,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to take your word for that. I mean, I remember their defense as being very good, and honestly, I don't really care enough about Dan Quinn to go back to the Seahawks and know who was the architect of that. But I guess what my question would be was like, well, I can understand being really frustrated with Dan Quinn as an Atlanta fan right now, but then I would turn that around and say, well, then who was the architect of the Super Bowl year?
well, you know, our offense was what number one in the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't like saying Kyle Shanahan name that much, but our offense and Matt Ryan, he won MVP that year.
Right.
We just played lights out, and we had the 26 ranked or 27 ranked defense that year. So Matt
Okay.
Ryan and his offense drug a 27th ranked defense into the Super Bowl.
Okay. So you outscored everybody.
We just outscored everybody, and just
Right.
other teams just couldn't keep up until you go back. I don't know. You watched the game, like we lost the first game of the season against you guys, and then after that game, we started playing better, but we ran into teams like Philadelphia who figured us out, and then we ran into teams like the Chargers and the Chiefs, and we tried to outscore them, and we couldn't. And Dan Quinn was just never good against AFC teams, so that's pretty much why we lost that Super Bowl because first three quarters it was just pretty much balls to the walls offense, and came the fourth quarter, hey, the Patriots, hey, they figured us out. We couldn't do anything on defense. Our defense was tired. We had like 90 something snaps that game on
Yeah.
that side of the ball. So hey, they tired us out. So Ultra Shadow was good, man. He said we could have had Rex Ryan an unfortunate time, and yeah, that's what it is, man. But let's talk about Todd's. I'm gonna talk about Todd's time with the Jets because a lot of people sitting up here saying, "Well, he didn't do good with the Jets. He didn't do good with the Jets because." And people gotta understand, your head coach and your GM, they have to be in a matrimony type of relationship. It's a
Yes.
symbiotic relationship. If if one has this philosophy on defense and this head coach has a philosophy on offense, they're not going to gel well at all. Look at the time with Bill Parcells when he was in Dallas. Him and
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Jones did not match at all. All right. And we know Bill Parcells, everywhere this man went, he won rings. He won rings when he was with the Giants. He won he won when he was with the Giants. He pretty much took the Patriots to their second Super Bowl in '96. And then
Right.
a couple of seasons later, you saw him with the Jets, and he was one game away from going to the Super Bowl, but they ran into a hot Denver Broncos team that eventually beat us in the Super Bowl. So you know, but he went to Dallas and pretty much didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So it happens, you know.
I don't think
So
he won a playoff game.
you talking about with the Cowboys?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think he won a playoff game. I mean, of course, like, the one that everyone remembers is when Romo fumbled the extra point to win the
Hmm.
playoff game, and then he got stopped short. Picked it up and tried to take it in. They lost, but yeah, I don't think they've won a playoff game. I don't think Dallas has won a playoff game in close to 20, 30 years
No,
now.
they won. They won a couple of years ago. They won against Seattle. Remember? And then
With
they ran.
Dak,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's right. When they went 13-3, that's right.
Hmm.
That's right. And then Rodgers knocked him out with the 2-minute heroics.
No, 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 no. That was 2016. 2016, they were 13-3. They lost in the first round in their divisional. In 2018, I believe, they won against Seattle. And then I forgot who they lost to. Was it the Rams?
I don't know. The point being is that Bill Parcells and Jerry Jones were on the same page, and a head coach that had taken teams to the Super Bowl or right on the doorstep couldn't do it with a really talented roster.
Exactly. Because look at Jason Garrett. He tried to do it with him, and they just couldn't. They just couldn't get right. And now they're in a bad situation right now. So
So, are we scouting Todd Bowles as a possible next Atlanta head coach? Is that what this is about?
this is what the show's
Okay.
about.
Okay. Well, it's not going to happen
Why you say that?
because, like I talked about, when I talked about Todd Bowles earlier, like him and BA are besties. They've been together a long time. Uh, the day that Brady quits is the day that BA quits, which could be next year, the end of next year. And uh, Todd Bowles got a taste of a head coaching job. A lot of people, this is all this part is speculation. A lot of people says he didn't like it, doesn't sort of mesh with his personality. But there's a difference. There's a difference of being a head coach in New York than there is being a head coach in a city like Atlanta or a city like Tampa, or not such a big market team. But for two reasons. One, a lot of people think that Todd Bowles is the coach in waiting here because of BA's age. He's 66 years old. He's never not made a trip to the hospital as a head coach. When he took the interim job at Indianapolis, uh, he ended up in the hospital at one point or another. The 3 years he was over with the Cardinals, he was in the hospital every single season for one reason or another. Last year was his first year where he didn't go. So
But his,
we think,
I think he improved his health though. That year he took what year or two he took a step back. He improved his health. There because I read the reports and stuff that he's doing a little better. Still a little heavy set a little bit, but
right.
he's taking better care of himself and working with the Cardinals, man. They're just those last few years he was there, man. It just wasn't good at all. But I respectfully disagree with you on that. Um,
Okay.
you know, I
But give
think
me
Todd.
let me give you the second reason. Um, yes, BA has done a little better, and he made a deal with his wife. That's why he doesn't call plays anymore. Was sort of improve his health so he didn't have the stress of calling plays on Sunday. But the second reason is because Todd Bowles, if he does want to leave Tampa Bay, and it's nothing against the Atlanta organization, it's just that they play in the same division as the Buccaneers, and secondly, they play in the NFC. But more importantly, they play in the NFC South. Todd Bowles is not going to leave the Bucs and his best friend BA to go coach against him twice a year when he'll have other ample opportunities to go to other teams. And on top of that, I think he's a coach in waiting for the Bucs.
All right, well, I say I respectfully disagree with you on that
Sure.
because end of the day, money talk, BS walks. So with Arthur Blank right now, and we looked at the presser that he did after he fired Nan Quinn and Thomas Dimitrov. The man
Mm-hmm.
wants to win. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd Bowles was on that list. Todd Bowles was on that list back in 2014 for him to come in to be the head coach. I think
with Todd, he will come into a good situation. You have an offense. Only thing he has to do is just fix the defense.
Right.
Um, Buccaneers, you guys, like I said, y'all look good right now, but you got to think about this. Tom Brady's not gonna play forever.
That's
This
right.
is this is why the Patriots did not bring back Tom Brady after last season. They started seeing the decline of him, and Tom Brady, he hasn't looked that well this year. It's y'all defense and y'all run game really been looking that's been helping y'all win games if we keeping it 100. But
Well,
I know some people.
that's well, keeping it 100. Tom Brady had a perfect passer rating the second half of the Chargers game. I mean, go look at Tom Brady's passing numbers. He's in the top 10 on everything. Now, I understand the defense has played well, and Ronald Jones has had three 100-yard games in a row. First time the Bucs have had, a run game you can hang your hat on for
Mm-hmm.
7 years. But I get this narrative a lot where Tom's on the decline, he's not doing well, and it's just not true. Look at the numbers, and yeah, I mean, he's not having to carry the team like he had the past couple of years uh, in New England. But again, he's 43. He's not the best quarterback in the league. He's not Rodgers. He's not Wilson. He's not Jackson. He's not Mahomes. I get it, but after that, he is. He's like, after you get past those guys that are having MPV type seasons, Tom's right there.
All right. Well, as far as Todd Bowles go,
Okay.
I feel like he wants to be a head coach again. I don't think I don't think Bruce is ready to leave yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like he said, he's what 60, he's 65, 66, 67,
66.
66. All right. And you got to look at other coaches in the league. Like Pete Carroll's like almost 70, and
Right.
Bill Belichick, he's up there in age too. I think he's like around the same age as
He
Pete.
is.
So, but I don't really look at age as an issue. As long as these guys can keep themselves healthy and stuff, they'd be fine. Look at Wade Phillips right now. He's trying to get back in the league, and
Yeah.
you know how old he is. He's been coaching since the '60s. So, um, want to go back to the notes. I just want to just point this out to everybody. Todd Bowles defense year by year. I'm just gonna go back to when he was the DC in Arizona. Arizona, they was ranked second in total defense. 2014, they took a little dip and they was ranked seventh in ranked defense. 2015, when he went to the Jets, they was ranked sixth in defense his first year there. The year prior to that, they was ranked 22nd. So he moved them from a 22nd ranked defense to a sixth ranked defense, and everybody know the coach before him was Rex Ryan, was a defensive minded coach. But I'm not trying to put Rex on blast or whatever. It's just the GMs that was there during that time, during the regime of Rex and Todd, they just never did anything well. They didn't really, shop in the free agency. The drafts was pretty much abysmal. So um, there's that. But 2016, he went from the sixth ranked defense the year before to a 23rd ranked defense. 2017, 22nd, and in 2018, he was also 22nd. It's just the Jets, man. They just one of those, like I said, man. They just one of those teams, the organization just can't get right at all. They don't really care. Like the owner Johnson, man. The Jets to him is a tax write off. This man owns Johnson and Johnson. All right, he's the heir to Johnson and Johnson, the baby lotion company.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah. I didn't know that.
yeah.
Um, if you do, and this is sort of hard to quantify, but if you look at the teams that have been historically sort of losing teams, that includes the Buccaneers for sure. Uh, it kind of comes down to ownership, you
Mm-hmm.
know. When the Hugh Culverhouse, who was the Buccaneers' first owner, was terrible,
Yeah.
terrible, terrible guy. Well, I don't know, terrible guy. Well, he kind of was. But as an owner, he was cheaper than cheap. And as soon as Malcolm Glazer came in and bought the team, that's when you saw the turnaround. They
Yeah.
changed the uniforms. Donnie Dungy comes in, Brooks, Sapp, Lynch, Barber, all those guys, and they start, making continual playoff appearances. Well,
Yeah.
Malcolm passed away, and now his sons run it, and it took a while for them to get their sea legs, and now you sort of see what's going on. But Like the Falcons before Arthur Blank bought them, like they were historically not a,
No,
you could say as a losing team.
it was the same
So
way with Tampa Bay. We had Rankin Smith, who was also cheap. He was a lawyer in the city, and his main thing when he bought the team, but when he was in, got gave they gave the NFL gave him the team in '66. His main thing was, hey, this is a profit. I can make money off this instead of winning
mhm.
games.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So, and you've seen this. So when you get, you look at the Jets and you see that owners like they're all going to tell you they want to win, but then watching what they do, the historically bad teams have sort of had bad ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Ownership that doesn't make like makes more financial decisions, more decisions based on financials than personnel. So that was kind of my defense when people talk to me about Todd Bowles and, well, look what he did with New York. I'm like, well, who can help the Jets?
Exactly.
It's like who can help the Jets? But if you want to kind of break it down to X's and O, when Todd Bowles there, the Jets had a really good defense. Like they had like I don't want to say top 10, but I think they were I think they were top 10, but definitely close.
They was top
And that
10 his first year there. Like they was ranked 6, and then the other years they was like below average. But they didn't draft anybody. They didn't develop. The draft was just a dumpster fire each year, and then not only that, like they didn't do anything in free agency.
Yes, exactly. And so the owner didn't want to spend money, and the GM wasn't listening or giving the head coach the players he wanted or needed. So I think that the Jets job, what the job that Todd Bowles did with the Jets is an unfair benchmark. And you talked a little bit about earlier, like Belichick with the Browns. Pete Carroll, he tried with the Patriots before he left and went to USC. He got fired from there. So the league is littered with Hall of Fame head coaches that didn't make it on their first teams, and it's usually because it's not a good working relationship with the owner, the GM, and the head coach all being on the same page.
Exactly. Like we said with Belichick. Belichick, he was with the Browns in the early '90s. All right. They moved to Baltimore and became the Ravens. A lot of people don't know that. The old Browns is pretty much the new Ravens. Or the
Yep.
Ravens. And, he didn't make that move with them. He went back to Bill Parcells in New England. And ultimately, he followed him to New York with the Jets. And then Bill Parcells, he resigned as the owner. I'm not the owner, as the
Yeah.
head coach, because
Remember that?
him and the GM could get along. Him and the GM could get along. Once again, your head coach and your GM has to have a good working relationship. If they do not, it's going to fail.
And the
All
GM
right.
was so bad. What did Bill Belichick do?
He said he resigned too, and the next day he was in New England.
He Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells retires at a press conference,
Mm-hmm.
names Bill Belichick as the new head coach. Like, this is your guy. 2 days later, Bill Belichick holds a press conference and goes, "Yeah, I quit. I'm the head coach of the Patriots." Yeah,
Exactly.
that's bad. That's bad culture.
Exactly. Nobody wanted to coach the Jets. Nobody. So, but yeah, I try to tell people, man, like you gotta have a good GM and a good head coach relationship. Like right now, we fired both our GM and head coach. Um, Thomas Dimitroff just never was to me. Yeah, he gave us Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Grady Jarrett, but other than that, like what else have he done for this team? And I try to tell people, like, yeah, he hit on some good pieces, but he missed on a lot. He missed on a lot.
Yeah.
So,
What was his batting average? Was it 500, 300, 700?
man,
Just off the top of your head.
I'm gonna say, to be honest with you, I'm gonna say it had to be around 3
300?
because yeah, far as like skilled players, he's good at that. But as far as the trenches go, offensive lineman and defensive lineman, he just did not do well in acquiring these guys through the draft, and then also signing players like Jamon Brown. I don't know if you saw the clip of him, with the Eagles. He just got fired. He sacked his own doggone quarterback. But we gave this man a $20 million contract.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But free agent slippery slope. Like Jason Light definitely has had his misses in free agency and the draft. The Vernon Hargreaves draft, I'm not sure of the year. I think it was 2017. The whole draft's a bust. And that was only like 3-4 years. Well, it had to be long. Maybe it was 2015. But these guys should have been having their contracts like just coming, like being renewed by the Buccaneers, and no one's on. Like I don't even know anybody's still in the league. Like Noah Spence can't get a job. Vernon Hargreaves, Roberto Aguayo, Hargreaves is still playing in the Texans, but he's not good. Like the Texans defense isn't good, and he's definitely not he's not the one guy. He's not Jamal Adams on the Jets where it's like everyone stinks but this guy. No, he's a huge part of the problem. So, Jason Light's had his hit and misses, but what I always liked about Jason Light is when he saw a weakness, and the weakest part was he would flood that position, and he kept swinging until finally he hit. Interior defensive line, kept swinging, kept missing. Finally landed on Dominican Sue, and drafted Villa. But there was probably 5 or 6 high-priced defensive linemen that came through the Buccaneers that none of them worked out. And, a couple of people left just, basically said they were just there like on a vacation for a year or two. Like Vinny Curry who's back with the Eagles, Chris Baker, who couldn't find a job after he left here, and the list goes on and on. So, I mean, I don't know much about Dimitrov except that I thought he was a really sharp dresser. I did. I loved his style, and I don't know a lot about Dan Quinn, but when it comes down to, you know, if you hit on your day 1 and day 2 picks, you should be fine. If you hit like on 70%, 80% of that, you should be fine. But then it comes down to coaching, and more than it does to Jimmy or Joe's, and you have to have the staff, which is something I came to realize after Dirk Cutter left, and the staff that BA brought in. I'm like, oh, like you can see the difference, like in training camp, like they know what they're doing. And I mean, Cutter's practices were efficient, but the team kept doing the same thing and not progressing forward, and none of the players were trending upward.
And Dirk doesn't know how to make the adjustments in game. Like, let's be real. Like he's back with us as the OC.
Yeah.
And man, you can look at the frustration on Matt Ryan's face. When we try to call plays and stuff like that, I'm like, bro, like what are we doing?
He won't run the ball.
He won't. Thank you. Oh my goodness, man.
He won't run the ball.
He will not run the ball.
He won't run it. He says he wants to run it, and he has an excuse why he didn't run it that game. But at the end of the year, he never runs the ball. There might be one game where he runs it, and it's like that every single year. But if you take it from game to game and you listen to him after the game, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I get it. But then it happens the next game, and he tells you, and then you look at the whole body of work, and you're like, he doesn't run the ball. He doesn't run the ball.
He doesn't run the ball. Let me tell you this for example. All right, first game of the season, we played against the Seahawks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we lost. We got our behinds whooped.
Mm-hmm.
This man came out on his press conference, and this man said that he did not plan for Jamal Adams. Because, Jamal Adams was with Seahawks now.
Right.
You telling me that you did not plan for a guy that the Seattle Seahawks gave up 2 first-round picks for this guy, and you didn't plan for this man?
Yeah, probably the best safety in the league.
Oh, my goodness, man. Jamal Adams, man, he had a day that game against us, and, like, at that point, man, I'm saying, like, why do we bring this man back?
Right.
Last year, our offense took a huge nosedive. Like, we had Steve Sarkisian, and yeah, a lot of people was upset about him. But at least Steve Sarkisian, man, like he looked like he was getting better year by year.
Right.
But we just didn't have the patience, and they found the scapegoat after that 2018 season. They said he was the problem, which he wasn't, and ultimately everybody knew that the defense was the problem.
Right.
So
yeah, which kind of really shocked me was I mean, I guess not because you didn't want to make Dirk Cutter the head coach because he has head coaching experience. And then what if he wins a bunch of games for you? Now you're like, okay, do we give Dirk Cutter the head coaching job now? Because the players are all going to give him their endorsement, if they win. But then you can't really give the head coaching job to Raheem because he's in charge of the defense and it's terrible.
Hmm.
So it was a little shocking to see Raheem there. But, Dirk Cutter is going to say things that is going to make you scratch your head.
Yeah.
He's honest and like he sabotages himself. Like,
Yes.
when Mike Smith's defense was terrible and, it'd be a post game press conference and, they'd ask him, but well, what happened here? What happened here? And he said, well, if I knew that, then, if I knew how to fix it, I would. And it's like, well, you're the head coach.
You're supposed
Like
to plan. You're supposed to watch film and look at analytics and stuff. Like he does. He does. I don't think he does that. He
you
don't.
have
I don't.
to have an answer.
Yeah. He
You
doesn't
have
look
to
at
have an answer.
analytics. He don't look
He
at
doesn't look at
analytics.
analytics. He doesn't. He
Like
doesn't.
what he does, he go off his practice and he look at, okay, this is working in practice, so it should translate in the game. I think that's what he does.
Well, in the end, his offensive score points. It's going to
Mm,
screw the defense over, make them really tired, and put them in bad situations a lot.
exactly.
But you're gonna score points.
Yeah. But what you said earlier about Raheem has a good relationship with our president right now, Rich McKay. He was once with y'all,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Built a
that's
Super Bowl team.
yeah, sure did, and that's why he became interim. I don't think the team is not high on Dirk. Dirk, I believe, was a Thomas Dimitroff guy. All right,
Okay.
because when Dimitroff, he just had an interview with I believe it was a CBS Sports after he got fired, and he
Uh-huh.
said that he wanted that his goal was to build this offensive juggernaut in Atlanta. And I'm like, okay, well, this explains everything because this is why we've been trash on defense for years. You just focused on offense, and you didn't even care about the other side of the ball.
Right.
So, but just going back to Todd Bowles, man, like
Sure.
when
He's
he
not
can't,
coming. He's not coming.
he go
He's not
come,
coming.
man.
No, he's not. He's not. He's not. Start looking somewhere else. Todd Bowles is never going to go to Atlanta. It has nothing to do with you and the organization, has nothing to do with the city, has nothing to do with the people. It has to do with he's not going to go to a team that plays the Buccaneers twice a year. Also, possibly he's the next coach in waiting. Also, possibly he might want to be a head coach. Also, possibly if he does, he's going to have more offers. And it doesn't matter about money because he has plenty and he's going to get money wherever the other head coach, like they're not like, I always forget his name. What's your owner? Arthur Blank is not going to give him 10 years, $10 million. Like, 10 million, $100 million. He's not going to get that. So the money's going to be like the same everywhere. Plus his kids are like just started high school here. He's not going to want, he's a family guy. He's not
But
going to
Tampa
unroll.
Bay. But let's be honest. If he wanted to stay in Tampa Bay is not that far from Atlanta. So he could eventually. You seen head coaches still stay where they was previously, and then they can like just have a little apartment, where they coaching and
He's
then just
not
travel.
coming to Atlanta.
He's gonna come to Atlanta, man.
All right.
Here's my take, man. Here's my take. This is my last take. All right.
Sure.
Now, you saying that he's not going to leave Tampa Bay?
No, I'm saying it's possible he's not going to leave Tampa Bay. I'm saying he's not coming to Atlanta.
All right. So, what team do you think he's going to go to? Because he's going to leave Tampa Bay, man. Look, man, you got to think about it. In
I have thought about it.
2019, all right,
Sure.
y'all before this season, y'all was ranked the last in the league in defense.
We were terrible.
Yes, he jumped y'all from 32nd to 6th ranked. This is
Uh-huh.
I'm going off pro football. I'm going off Football Outsiders. All right,
Okay.
6th in total defense.
Yeah.
Now y'all ranked number 1 in the league. All right.
Yeah.
So ownerships, teams around the league right now who's about to either fire their coaches or
Right.
plan on firing their coaches. They looking at this and they saying, man, and if they are a horrible defense team, they looking at this, man. We got to get this man in here.
Right.
They got to get the guy like him. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, Todd Bowles is not at the very top of my list,
Sure.
but he's top 5. My number
Yeah.
1 person is Don Martindale from Baltimore.
Is he the DC?
Yeah, he's the DC.
All right. That's the guy to look at.
Well, I've been looking at him. I've done my research. I done him. I done Rex Ryan. I done Dennis Allen. I did Dennis Allen yesterday, and Todd Bowles is one of my guys too.
I wouldn't take Rex Ryan as a head coach ever, but that's just me. Who's the other guy?
I said Dennis Allen. He's the DC for the Saints right now,
Okay, okay, okay.
and he's been,
Yeah,
that defense has been consistently good since he's been back with them.
yeah.
And he used to coach here in Atlanta too. When Wade Phillips was
Oh,
a DC. So, but those
okay.
are my guys. I don't want you thinking that just Todd was number one on my list. I'm doing
I don't
this.
care.
I have a top 10 list of head coaches. All right, or possible head coaches. This is why I'm scouting. All right,
Sure.
but it's possible Todd Bowles could be here in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, it's
But
possible.
it's possible. But if I was an ownership of the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm pretty sure they're looking at analytics, they're looking at data, they're looking at how are these coordinators are doing across the league, and have they been consistently been good for several years.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Bowles is one of those guys,
Yeah.
without a doubt. You can't argue that.
Uh-uh.
Like we said, man, if the price is right, he can come here to Atlanta. It's business, nothing personal. Yeah, I know he's friends with Bruce Arians, but end of the day, man, it's all business, man. It's nothing personal. There's
Yeah.
no feel. I don't put any feelings into football because I used to play and I used to coach as well. So,
Sure. Sure. Yeah, but again, it is all business. But Todd Bowles doesn't need the money. And he might be the coach in waiting, and he's going to get other offers. It's not like there's one job and there's three guys up for it, and Todd Bowles is one. And I'm going, yeah, Todd Bowles is not even going to look. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that if Todd Bowles wants to leave Tampa, he's going to have multiple spots to choose, and it doesn't help Atlanta that they're in the same division as his bestie, who's the head coach.
all right. So teams right now that's looking bad. Houston. I don't think he's going to Houston. Houston right now is just horrible right now. Like they pretty much salvaged their future. They got rid of a few draft picks. So it's gonna take whoever's going to Houston. It's gonna take 5 years. Like
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien left that team in shambles.
Yeah. They got some good players, but there's no way to replenish anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then who else you have that's gonna the Jets? He's not. We know he's not going back to the Jets.
Nope.
Cincinnati right now is okay. They not finna get rid of their coach. The Lions.
Mm-mm.
He could possibly join. He could possibly go to Detroit. But
He could.
You gotta think about how are they going to work around Matthew Stafford? That's the issue. Like Stafford and Ryan's situation right now is totally different. Ryan is still playing at a good level. Stafford, we don't know what's going to happen with him. But I feel like with the Lions, they just got to get them an offensive line to protect the guy. They do that,
Yeah.
they'll be fine. Let's see what other teams around the league. The West is fine. I don't think anybody in the NFC West is getting rid of their coaches.
Nope.
In the South, the Falcons are the only team that's looking for a head coach. The East, on the other hand, they just got the Cowboys they just got Mike McCarthy. The
Right.
Redskins or the Washington NFL team, they just got
Ron Rivera.
Ron Rivera, and the Eagles, they're not getting rid of Doug Peterson. They're just not. And then
Yeah, too many injuries. It's not really his fault.
Exactly. And you have the
Joe Judge. He
Joe
might be
Judge
gone.
is his first year. He could be gone, but we'll see how patient they'll be with him. AFC, Dolphins, they may end up getting rid of Flores, or they may end up keeping him. I think they may end up keeping him.
They should keep him.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
I think he's a good coach.
Yeah. Jets, they're gonna get rid of Gase. We said
Oh, yeah.
But Todd's not going back there. New England, they're not getting rid of their head coach.
He's gonna quit. He's just
And
gonna quit.
Yeah, exactly. Buffalo, they're not getting rid of their coach.
No.
They're doing well right now. The
No.
West, AFC West right now, I think everybody in that division right now is looking good. They now the Broncos, they may end up getting rid of Fangio, but that'd be a dumb move on their part. Fangio, I think, is a good coach.
Yeah.
Good defensive minded coach. Elway just gotta work with this man and try to get this man the pieces he need. So, and then you look at the North right now. You got a new
Raider.
coach.
Wait. It's Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos. Who?
The Chargers.
Chargers. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Chargers, they just got them a new quarterback. He's playing well. So
I think the Chargers, with how they've been decimated by so many injuries, if you're talking about getting rid of McCoy, I think it's blasphemy because I think their offensive and defensive game plans just to be able to hang with teams like us and scare the crap out of hang with teams like, the Saints, scare the crap out of them. I mean, the guy, missed a makeable field goal for the win with time running out. I mean, I know there's been a little heat on McCoy, but I think that's ridiculous. Like
no, it's
I
not
think
McCoy. It's Anthony Lynn is the head coach.
I'm sorry, Anthony Lynn. Yeah, I'm sorry, Anthony Lynn. Like I think it's just ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, you're right. The West looks solid.
Yeah, I don't think they're getting rid of Lynn. Lynn, he had that playoff run in 2018. So, and then last year they took a step back, but I think they'll be fine in years to come if they just continue to build a team like they need to. And then you look at the South. Texas got rid of their coach. Colts, they're not getting rid of Wright.
Mm-mm.
And then you have Jacksonville. They may end up firing their coach. And then you have, who else is in the South? Tennessee. Yeah, and they're not getting rid of their coach neither. So
No.
there you have it, man. Like in the North, we said that the Steelers are playing well right now. The Ravens are playing well right now. The Bengals are in rebuild mode, and Stefanowski with the Browns his first year. So it won't be that many head coaching vacancies out there. Yeah, you got Atlanta right now. You got Houston, and we said the Jets is going to pretty much follow that trend as well. So, but other than that, man, we still got a half season left to play, and
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah, with those open head coaching positions, looks like Todd Bowles is staying in Tampa.
Could be, or he could just say, "Hey, I want to go somewhere else." What's good, Sports Live in the ATL, man? How you doing? Yeah, man, it's game day. Let's get this W. But yeah,
Who are you guys playing today?
We're playing the Lions.
Ooh.
Should be a winnable game. We'll see.
Oh, it's a winnable game.
Should be. But look,
I feel like this is one of those games that the Lions are going to win because that's what the Lions do.
Yeah, but I could say that a lot with Dan Quinn as our head coach. We say it's a winnable game, and then we go out there and wet the bed. So we'll see how the day goes. So,
sure.
But other than that, man. But hey, I appreciate you coming on, man. We got to do this again. I may end up bringing you back on when we play y'all
all right.
later on in the season. Let everybody know who you are and where they can find you.
My name's Ren Daxt, REN_DAXT. I know that's a little awkward, but that's the best place to find me is always on Twitter. I am the co-host of a Buccaneer-centric podcast called The Pewtercast, and you can find me through that if that's easier to remember. The Pewtercast, just like the Buccaneer color. And that's found across all social medias. We do like I said, a Buccaneer-centric podcast. We go directly after triple zeros. So when we play you guys in a handful of weeks twice, if you want to come in and talk some Buccaneers Atlanta football, we're there on YouTube, and we also go live on Twitter, and we go live on Facebook, and we go live on our website, petercast.live. So that's it. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And if you want to bring me back for the Atlanta game or Atlanta games, I'll be here. And I will tell you again how Todd Bowles is not coming to Atlanta.
And I'll tell you again that, I beg to differ, and we going to see, and we going to, wait this out. And I'm pretty sure he's going to end up leaving Tampa Bay. Could be possible. He's going to be on that list of candidates to interview for the Atlanta Falcons. So that's all I'm going to say on that. But hey, if y'all join us at a later time, let us know what y'all think about Todd Bowles. All right. Should he come to Atlanta? Do y'all feel like he should get another shot at the head coaching job? Do y'all think that we should not bring him in? Or you think he should stay at Tampa Bay? Let us know what y'all think in the comment section. Also, you new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that like button. Share this content out with other Atlanta sports fanatics. Everybody that's in the live chat, appreciate y'all joining us today. On that note, let's go see our Falcons. Let's get this W today. As always, come holla.
at your hometown sports podcast. This is the Don with another episode of the Don's Favor. Y'all have a great morning. I'm out.